Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the U.S., and I'm very happy that you're here to join me tonight. Thank you so much. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Let's see if we can figure out who's on. We'll give everybody a minute or two to get in here. And then we'll get started. Hi, Tracy. This is the March product of the month, Notes of Spring. And this is available this month while supplies last. With your purchase of $75 or more, you have the option to add this on to your cart for $5. There are 15 photopolymer stamps. This is what we call distinctive. And we'll be using that in a future video. But it just arrived today. Hello, Laura. Hello, Cynthia. I got my order this afternoon. And in addition to that, I don't usually order kits, but I did order this kit because it isn't really a kit. This is the Standing Clipboard Trio Kit. This came out on Tuesday. No. Last week. Came out last week on Tuesday. So you get these little clipboards, and there are 2 of this size, and then there is a larger clipboard. And they all have easel backs, and they're very thick. And you can purchase some other kits. There were 2 other kits released this week that coordinate with this kit, and of course you can put whatever you want on your clipboard and use it however you want, but they're easily sized to fit a greeting card. So then you can set that on your desk in your space and display your artwork. Okay. So that's available, and you get 3 of them in the kit. Hello, Jennifer. So this is the stamp set that we're going to be using this week. I've got 1 card for you tonight and 1 treat box, and then we'll do another card on Thursday night's YouTube live. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start with the card. So let's bring in those pieces. We're going to also be using the Easter basket stamp set. And this can be purchased in a bundle with coordinating dies. I'm using the Happy Easter out of this set. Oh, and I'm using this bow out of the dies. So we're actually using the whole bundle. We're also using the Lazy Daisy 3D embossing folder. And this is what that looks like when it is embossed. Hopefully you can see that. There is a lot of dimension. We'll be using the Easter assortment, and yes, I know these are on back order, but we're going to use them anyway. And then we're also going to be using the Nested Essentials dies, and we're using the largest of the rounded corner rectangle here. So we're going to be using this one, and I've pre-cut that from Basic White. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be a pretty quick and simple card. So we're going to start with a card base in Azure Afternoon. And this is 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So we're going to fold that up. Give that a good burnish. And then I'm going to fold this one back. Okay. So we've got this fold. Okay. Now, let's start with our stamping. And this is actually a sketch card that I saw from, I'm not even sure where the sketch was, whose it was, but I decided to use the sketch as the basis of my card. And so this is what we've got. So I've got a piece of basic white, and this is scored, this is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I've run that through the Lazy Daisy 3D embossing folder. Okay. And we're going to do some stamping. So we're going to bring in the bunny head from Seasonal Celebrations. And then we're going to use the bunny face and the Happy Easter to do our sentiment stamping. We're going to need some scrap paper. Let's go ahead and fold that in half, just because this isn't the greatest paper here. And then we're going to get some crumb cake ink. So we've got Crumb Cake, Azure Afternoon, Lemon Lolly, and Shy Shamrock. Let's start with Crumb Cake for our bunny. We're going to ink up our bunny. And then I'm going to stamp him off. Okay, so I don't want him to be that dark. I would prefer a white bunny, but there was no way for me to get a white bunny on white cardstock. So this was my solution. I did try a smoky slate bunny, but it was way too light. Okay, so we've got that. And then we're going to bring in Memento Tuxedo Black. This Seasonal Celebrations does not have dies, so I tried to stay away from fussy cutting with it so that I could show you that this is a great little stamp set and you don't have to fussy cut. So we're going to put that on for his face, and that's just Memento Tuxedo Black. And then I'm going to take a little bit of SU, the light in the natural tones, SU 1000. And I'm going to put in a little bit just to give him some little cheeks there. And then I wanted a little bit of pink in the ears. So I'm just going to draw that in. Doesn't have to be perfect. It is a handmade card. So we're just going to color that in just like that. Okay, and there's our little bunny. And then from the Easter basket dies, I've taken this little bow tie, this little bow, and I have cut that out, die cut it out in Azure Afternoon, and then I took my snips and I cut off the bows so that I would have this cute little bow tie. And we're going to add that right down here with a glue dot. Just to give him a little bit of character right there. Okay. Now let's set that aside. Let's go ahead and bring in our Happy Easter. And some Azure Afternoon ink. And we're going to take our Happy Easter. And I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pierce mat here. Just because I want to make sure this is nice and pretty. I'm going to stamp this down here. This is just a scrap that I had in my drawer. And then I'm just going to trim that out. Hi, Cher. Hi, Jennifer, if I didn't say hello. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I do really appreciate it. So I'm just going to take this, put it in my trimmer, and trim that out. And I'll save that scrap for another piece because that's a 1/2 inch scrap. So that'll work great for another one. And then I'm just going to give that a little trim there. And I need to trim that just a tiny bit more. Even that up a bit. There we go. I'm happy with that. Okay, now we're ready to put this card together. Not much to it. Okay, so let's bring in our Lazy Daisy layer piece here. And then I've got 2 pieces of the Easter Joy specialty paper. And they're actually the same piece. If you haven't seen this paper, this is an extra thick and shiny cardstock on the one side, and then your basic cardstock on the other. It has some gold foiling in it. So we're going to use the same piece, but we're going to use the back side and the front side, the A side and the B side. And these pieces are both 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to put this down here like so. Put this one on here. Let's go ahead and put some liquid glue on here. This is a 3D embossing folder, and liquid glue is my preference for that. So we're just going to add some liquid glue here. And then I'm going to lay this down kind of like this. I'm not going to press that too hard in case I need to move it. And then I'm going to add this piece. Hopefully I didn't get too crazy with the glue there. And I'm going to put this kind of like this. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to give those both a press. Smoosh them a little. I like to take and turn these over. And then use my bone folder just to make sure that that all makes contact with the paper and stays where I want it. And then we're going to take our little bunny piece and we're going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals here. And we'll add this on, and our card is almost finished. Pretty quick and easy card here. You could easily mass produce if you wanted. We're just going to put this down here. About like that. And then we'll take our Happy Easter sentiment. And we'll add some dimensionals to that. Being stubborn. And we're just going to put this up here like this. Okay, now let's grab those gems. We'll put our lid back on our glue so it doesn't dry out. I'm going to take a lemon lolly circle here, and I'm going to stick in the center of that flower. And then I'm going to take a I think that's Azure Afternoon. Nope, Balmy Blue. Put in there, and then we're going to take one of these cute little gingham eggs, and we're going to put that up here. Okay, when I'm happy with the placement, I'll just use the end of my Take Your Pick tool. Give those a good press. And then we'll add this to our card. We're just going to add this to the card base, and it's going to go like this. So I'm going to center it up, but I'm not going to put any glue on this side. I'm just going to put glue here. Okay. So I'm actually going to take and draw a line here. Just leave myself just a little bit of a border at the top and the bottom. And then on that left edge, put some glue in there. That did not work out well. Don't do that. This is how my day is going. Let me grab something to wipe that off real fast, because we don't want that mess. The struggle is real today. Okay, come on. This is what I really wanted to do. Well, maybe I don't. It's okay, I had plenty of glue, so we're still good. We're just going to put this on and center it up as best we can, top to bottom. And then I'll flip that over. Give that a good press with my bone folder, just to make sure that everything has adhered. And then we have this. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this up with the inside. So for the inside, I took the large daffodil and the matching stem that are also in the seasonal celebrations. I stamped the flower in lemon lolly and then added the stem in shy shamrock. Okay, and I did not put an inside sentiment. Because I couldn't decide on one. Okay, so there we go. There is our quick and easy card. And then I use the Address to You stamp set for this piece and added again that daffodil to the card envelope. Isn't that bunny adorable? I think it is so adorable. All right, so there we go. That is project number 1 finished. Let's move on to project number 2. Hello, Cher. All right. So for this project, we're going to make a quick fold flat treat box. You guys, I forgot to put the treats in it. That was crazy. This is the box that we're going to make. Let me see if I can find the treats quickly. Yep, right here. That's what I want, right here. Got them. This is what fits in that box. These Chuck-So little candies. So we've got those. I got those at the Costco store. So we're going to start with a piece of garden green cardstock, which I have not cut yet. And we are going to cut this to, let's put out our arm. And we need this to be 6.5 by 8 1/4. So I'm going to take and cut this first at 6.5 to save cardstock. Okay, so I'll cut that at 6.5. Oh, I just cut it wrong. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you how to do it wrong. Never mind. Let's try again so I tell you how to do this properly to get the best use of your cardstock. I don't want you wasting cardstock. That's craziness. Okay. So what you want to do first is you want to cut it the long way. So the 11-inch side at 6.5. This doesn't work very good with my setup here. So 6.5. And then you'll have this nice big piece to use, which you will need later, by 8 1/4. No. Yes. Yeah, 8 1/4. Okay, so we're just going to cut 1/4 inch off of this side. And that I will not keep. So now we have that. And bring in our score tool. This is my preferred score tool. You could score on the trimmer, but I find you get a more accurate score on the scoring tool because you have 2 sides to hold your paper in. So we're going to score on the 6.5 inch side at 5 1/4 and 6 inches. And then I'm going to flip that around and score at 5 1/4 and 6 inches. Okay. And then we're going to score on the 8 1/4 inch side at 3/4 and 3 3/4. 3/4, 3 3/4, both ends. Okay. And what that does is that makes it so if we did not cut our paper perfectly, we still have the same distance from each end. It's not because I can't do the math. It just makes sure that your box is exactly equal on both sides. Okay? So I'm going to take and give this a burnish on all of those score lines. Okay. And then got one more score line left here. And then we're going to do some trimming. And I highly recommend that you do the trimming this way so you don't confuse yourself. It's kind of important. Okay, so both of these are exactly the same. So just pick an end. And I'm going to go to the second score line from the right here. And I'm going to cut up to the second horizontal score line. Okay, I'm going to leave this long flap. And then I'm going to trim this off. I'm going to remove that whole section. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to go up to the second score line, but this time from the left. And then I'm going to go up and cut that off so that my box looks like this. Okay? Now, what that does for you is it tells you where you need to score next. Okay, what did I do with my... There they are, I buried them. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. And then before we do anything more, we got to cut off these 4 little outside corners. And that's why we do this first, so we know which corners we need to cut. So we're going to snip these off on all 4 of those outside corners. Okay. So we'll do that. Now we're going to bring in our scoring tool and a ruler. And we're going to score these 4 outside corners diagonally. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to start at the intersection of those 4 scores, and we're going to score outward. So we're going to put our stylus tool in the center of that intersection and put our ruler down and score outward. Okay, again, stylus tool goes in the intersection of the 4 scores and we score outward diagonally. And repeat. Intersection for the stylus. Score outward. Intersection. Score outward. Right? Now this is still the inside of our box. So what we're going to do is we're going to pinch these outward. Just with our fingers like that. Just pinch those. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and add our glue to these 4 inside corners. Okay, so the ones closest to the solid score line in those little diagonals. I like to call it the inside-outside diagonal because you're on the inside and this is the outer edge. Okay, so we've got those, and then we'll just take these, fold it in and hold it. Give those a good burnish with our fingers. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring my bone folder in again, and I'm just going to put that on the score line and push outward just to make sure that that glue is very well adhered. Okay. So now we have our box. All right. Now it's time to decorate. And get rid of the glue on my hands. Okay. So this is going to be the top of our box. So I'm going to bring in a corner rounder. And I'm going to round those corners. Any corner rounder that you have on hand will work. Stampin' Up! Does not have a corner rounder at this point. So this is going to be our box top right here. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to lay this on some scrap paper. Okay, let's go this way. All right, that'll be easier. And then we're going to take some garden green ink. And from the stamp set Good Luck, we're going to take the little, not this one, we're going to take the little clover and this little doohickey thing. I don't know what you call those. And we're going to stamp our box. So we're just going to do some random stamping here, knowing that we're going to cover up most of the inside. So I don't need to be too crazy. There will be some spots here at the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to flip this just for a second because this is going to be our flap and it's going to be going down. So we're going to put some decoration on here. Okay, we're going to take in that little one here. And then I'm going to go back over here like this. I'm going to add some of these in randomly. We didn't have any St. Patrick's Day papers per se. So I thought, well, I'm just going to make my own because I can. Okay, so we've got that. Now this is going to be the back of our box and it's going to be up this way. So I'm going to turn that around and I'm going to add a few little pieces here. And then I'm going to turn this. This is going to be the side of our box. This one's going to stand up this way. So let's go ahead and we'll stamp just a couple little clovers here. Turn that around. A couple little clovers here. And add in our little sparkled things. All right. And now we have our box that looks like it has some paper. Okay, so to open this box, we're just going to put this, fold this, and then this is going to come down like this, and this is what we have thus far. Okay, now we need a closure for this, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab some Velcro dots, which I didn't leave out. So let me grab those real quick. These are Velcro 3/8 inch thin fasteners. I'm going to take 2 of them. And we're going to add those to our box. Now, I would like to put these at the 1 inch mark and the 1 inch mark. So in my case here, if I put this right at 6, I'm going to put 1 at 5 and 1 at 7. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but I wanted it to be semi-good. So we're just going to lay this down here I'm going to stick this right here. I always put the white side to the inside that's not going to show. So the inside top box top. Because there's a clear side and a white side. So I'm going to use the white side. I'm going to lay this down. Put that there approximately. Give that a good press. I like to take and flip that over and give it a good press with my bone folder. Okay. And then I'm going to remove the sticky back on the clear side. Okay. So those are now ready to go. I'm going to pop these up just by pushing on the back there and pushing on the front. Fold those in. I'm going to put that down on the table, line everything up nice and straight. Bring that top over and give it a good press. I don't want to press too hard because I don't have anything in it. And then I'm going to carefully lift that up and lift that up. And then because it's a fold flat, I can just lay that back down and burnish those sides as well. All right, let's go ahead and put our little treats in here, which I just threw on the floor. That's good. Okay. So we'll put some little treats in here. Now this box will also fit, let's see, what do I have on here? Here it is. It fits the Little Debbie gingerbread soft cookies. We made that at Christmas time, or 3 fun-sized Nestle Crunches, along with these Choco things. I'm sure there's a lot of other things you can fit. It also will fit a gift card. This is a great box for a gift card. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the final decorations on that. Oh, I don't know where I'm taking that. We need that. Okay, so I have cut 2 of the party banner dies. You guys, if you haven't gotten this already, you need to get this die set. It makes such great things. I've made lots of boxes with these. So we're going to use the 5th and 6th party banners. Okay, this one we've cut in the soft seafoam, and this one we've cut in basic white. Oh, gotta leave those over. So I'm going to use those same party banner dies another day on Thursday. Okay. So let's go ahead and put those back in so I don't lose them. It's an important thing for me. Okay, so now we're going to bring in our I'm going to bring in our stamp pad here. And our basic white. And I need that paper again, our scrap paper. And this time we're going to bring in the Shamrock from the seasonal celebrations, the large Shamrock. And we're going to stamp that off. And then we're going to put it down here and stamp it on. So 2nd generation. Let that sit and soak for a second. Then we'll lift that off. And then from the Good Luck stamp set, we're going to use Lucky to Be Friends. And we're going to stamp that in Garden Green Full Strength. Okay. So we've got that. Then this is ready. We're going to add our gems to this. And we are using the Sparkle Dot Essentials. These are in the Spring Mini Catalog, the January to April catalog. And so we're going to just put a couple of these on here. I'm going to use, there's small, medium, and large, and I'm going to use one of each. Okay. Then we're going to give those a good press. We're going to use the Garden Green and White chevron ribbon here. I love this ribbon. It's 1/8 inch, very narrow. And we're going to make us a nice bow. And let's go this size. Let's go a little bigger, shall we? I like to use my little bow jig here. Makes my bow tying so much easier as I fumble with my, let's get that out of the way. And then we're just going to tie that up. Give that a nice tug so it stays taut. And we'll trim that off. And trim that off. And then we're going to add this to our white piece. Oh, wait a minute, we're going to put this on first, flat. I'm going to put this on flat. So we're going to go ahead and add this to our box. Okay, there we go. So we'll put this right here. Get my fat fingers out of the way. And this is pretty much, this barely fits on the top of this box. But I wanted a little bit of extra decoration there. So we've got, whoops, I didn't get that on there very straight. Come on. Oh, you know what? Let's be a little smarter. I can be a little bit smarter. And I can just lay this flat. And work a little bit smarter, not harder. And then we'll just put that on. Next, we're going to add this with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, then I'm just gonna give this a little flick. Okay. Add these. Take these off. And then we'll add this to our top. Center that up. Take a glue dot. And I'm going to double glue dot this just to ensure it stays on. And I'm going to put that right there, like that. Trim those up a bit. Put our little candies back in. And close up our box. And there is our quick and easy little fold flat box for St. Patrick's Day. You can make these up, give them to your coworkers, give them to your friends, teachers at school. I'm sure anybody would love to have those. Oh, thanks, Tracy. I'm glad you like that. Okay, so that is what I have for you this evening. 2 pretty quick little projects. Easy to reproduce. Don't take a lot of supplies. And you're all set. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate you so much. If you like what you see, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're watching on the replay or you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I upload my next video. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate you joining me. It means so much to me. Good night.